Hello, welcome. In this lesson, we are going to learn how the drop 2 chord is formed. First step. Start with a closed chord structure and assign a number to each note as shown in the first measure. We'll use the C major 7th chord as an example. This would be the closed structure. Root 3rd, 5th, and 7th. I'm going to transpose this chord one octave higher to make it easier to play. Root 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Let's number each of the musical notes, starting from the highest note in the sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for the second step. In the drop 2 structure, the second note, in this example, the note G, which is the 5th note in the chord, is moved one octave lower, creating what is called a 5th inversion. In other words, this is a C major 7th chord, but with the lowest note being the 5th of the chord, which is the G note. The second note is played one octave lower than it would normally be. We'll have this structure. I'm going to take the B note and put it right here on this string to make it a little bit easier to play. This chord is a C major 7th chord, but with G in the bass position. Third step. Do the inversion process to arrive at a chord that specifically has the root note as the lowest note. By doing the inversion process, every 5th becomes the 7th. The G note will become the B note. Every tonic in turn becomes the 3rd. The C note will become the E note. Every 3rd becomes the 5th. The E note will now become the G note. Every 7th becomes the tonic. The B note will become the C note. We've arrived at this chord. Fourth step, let's do the inversion process again, so we can get to a chord that has the C note in the bass. In the inversion process, every 7th becomes the tonic. The B note becomes the C note. Every 3rd becomes the 5th. The E note becomes the G note. Every 5th becomes the 7th. The G note becomes the B note. Every tonic becomes the 3rd. The C note becomes the E note. So we've arrived at this chord. I'm going to transpose it an octave lower. This is a major chord, specifically one with a major 7th interval in the drop 2 structure. All the chords will have this same structure, changing the notes according to the tetrad. For example, in the major chord with a major 7th, I changed the 7th. For the minor chord with a minor 7th, I changed the 3rd. And it's the same with all of the other chords. This applies to both simpler chords and more advanced chords. They will always have this particular structure whenever they are played as drop 2 chords.